And now, back to the Thrivetime Show on Talk Radio 1170.
Oh, Z, such good energy on that intro there. I just love when people are clapping in the streets, jamming out. Z, we need to go on a Mardi Gras excursion one of these days.
We need to.
We really do.
But the problem is that there'd be people there. And I know how you have kind of an aversion to meeting random people.
I think random's easier for me than people that I have to see on a continual basis that I don't like.
Yeah, well, I can see that. I can understand that for sure.
Yeah.
But, okay, so we'll have to probably...
We have to do that.
And the good thing about it, I know they have vodka down there.
Yeah, as long as I can get on the plane with enough cranberry and vodka to kill a horse, I'm fine. Once I get on the plane...
Once he wakes up, it's smooth sailing from there.
It is.
Smooth sailing.
Because when you get on a plane, someone might touch you or they might look at you or there's a guy who wants to breathe on you.
It's all that circulating
You're in an aluminum tube.
I the ones that just want to sit there and talk the whole time. Those are the ones
Headphones, that kills.
Oh, yeah.
Hell.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, headphones.
That's the new move now, headphones.
Back in the day.
It used to be a book. I'd always pop out a book, and then I remember one time I got on the plane, and I'm sitting there, I got my book, and the dude sits down, and he looks over at me, and I can just feel him looking at me and goes, oh, no. No, there'll be no reading of books on this flight.
There will be no reading on this
thing
flight.
out.
We're going to be talking. I'm a talker.
He was just teasing. I looked up at him with this kind of horrified look. He goes, I'm just kidding. What book are you reading? No, let's talk about your book.
You know, Z, there's a Mile High Club.
Whoa.
What?
Stewardess, can we switch seats here? Okay. All right, no. Here we're talking about Efficiency 101. Focus on revenue. Producing activity. You got to focus on revenue producing activity because without sales, your business will fail. So I'm going to give you a notable quotable from Lee Cockrell, the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts. He says, you either pay now or pay later with just about every decision you make about where and how you spend your time. Now, Lee was the former executive vice president of Walt Disney World Resorts. He managed 40,000 employees and over 1 million customers per week. He called his system WIN. He said, what's important now? You don't make strategic decisions when a customer's asking where the bathroom is. You don't make strategic decisions when there's someone in front of you wanting to buy something. You focus on what's important now. So you have to have a time allocated in your day to focus on strategic ideas. And here's the problem. There are four things I see all the time entrepreneurs doing that is absolutely killing your sales. One, Z, is people who want to spend their entire day modifying a logo or a print piece for the 17th time when they haven't sold anything yet. They're focusing on these strategic, high-level things that don't matter. Z, help cure somebody who's listening here who says, I did want to spend my entire day modifying my logo for the 17th time for my 18th brand that I'm working on in my head, but yet I've not sold something today. Please help cure this person.
Well, I tell you what, when you don't sell something, you're going to become one of the 80 percentiles. If you look under Forbes right now, it's a horrible stat. 80%, according to Forbes, and it's even higher on some other websites. And Forbes is kind of our business Bible, if you will. 80% of businesses fail, and I think this is exactly the reason why, because they're not bringing in sales. If you're not selling, if you're too busy trying to do all the other little busy things that you can get caught up in throughout the day. Like that. Is your logo perfect? Nobody's logo is probably perfect, but you know what? That's not what you're there to do today. You've got to make some sales, and then you can, once you have a war chest, once you have money in the bank, then you can have the time to go in and tweak the things that you feel like long-term need to be tweaked.
Now, Ryan, you have put a bias on sales in your business at Tip Top Canine where you do focus on quality.
I hated my logo for a long time, and I didn't have enough sales to freaking change it. I really like my logo now.
But let me ask you this, though.
The same one.
So you, when you were starting Tip Top Canine, most businesses go out of business. But you've been doing this for over a decade.
Right.
Obviously, you're getting more efficient over time.
Oh, yeah.
But for somebody listening to this show who's not focusing on sales and they're focusing on building a culture, building a team, what advice would you give for them? Help them get unstuck.
It doesn't really matter what you're doing. You got to make some freaking money. It does not.
That was
the
deep.
culture doesn't
I
matter.
agree. No, we don't
the
need to go
logo
any deeper.
doesn't matter.
None of it matters if you can't sell.
Yeah.
Your culture will be homeless if you can't sell. Now, the next move. Don't spend your time creating mission statements and putting your values on a document if you don't have sales. Chup, you can't spend your time creating mission statements and building team culture if you don't do sales. We hit on it. But again, talk to somebody out there who's listening who says, gosh, really want to spend my entire day making value statement posters, but they haven't sold anything.
Well, I think Ryan kind of summed it up. If you don't have any money, you don't have a business. So your culture, your vision statement, none of that really matters. So you have to sell. Clay, that's why I like your advice to a lot of people if they're wanting to come up with a new product or service or maybe a new business idea. Get out there and sell 10-somethings first. See if anybody even wants to buy it. See if you're able to sell. See if you have that skill set or need to develop it before you end up worrying about, mission statements and culture and all that.
Now, Chup, I'm going to have you put the Bill Gates quote on there. But Bill Gates explains, and we'll put the quote on the show notes, but he explains that he was asked by a group of college students. See, a college student puts his hand up and says, Mr. Gates, co-founder of Microsoft, I have a question for you. And he says, yeah, sure. He says, hey, here's the deal. I would like to know what's your take on life balance? Bill Gates looks at the guy, very measured, very calm. Bill Gates, if you listen to him, he's pretty calm today. He says, I never took a day off in my 20s. So I'm probably more balanced now, but I never took a day off in my 20s. Next question. And the profundity of that statement, Elon Musk was asked, Elon, what's your tip for being successful? He says, if you work like 60 to 80 hours, you really got to work more like 80 to 100 hours to be successful, to start the business, Then after that, you can do what you want. But you got to work those 80 or 100 hours. And you might say, gosh, that seems pretty intense. Another notable quote that I like to say a lot is I tell people, if you want to create like the creator, you have to work 6 days. See, I feel like, I want to create a big business. I want to be successful. Well, you can't be like resting on the 7th day, the 6th day, the 5th day, the 4th day. You got to work 6 days, baby.
You got to work, baby.
So, Z, don't travel for leisure if you don't have sales.
Well, I'm going to attack what you just said just a little bit there.
Yes.
So many people, we celebrate the rocket ship in orbit.
SpaceX has landed successfully.
It's look at the pictures from this. Look at the guys walking outside the thing, and it's up there.
There's a car in space.
It's up there orbiting the planet, and it seems like it's effortless.
And the entrepreneur writes down this note. They go, "That's a great marketing idea. I should send a car to space."
Yeah. Then what happens is they don't celebrate. They don't really look at all the energy it took for that thing to launch off the ground. So that's why when we say front loading as entrepreneurs, you have to be able to say, "Listen, I'm willing to work 7 days a week, 6 days a week, 80 hours a week to start this off." It takes a lot of energy. And then once you get up there in orbit, then you can kind of back off. Then it just takes a little thrusters here and there.
Fire the left thruster. That's all we need for today.
And so many times, I think people buy into entrepreneurship for that level of it. They go, hey, I want all the free time and a lot of money to go do what I want to do. And this next point is one of the things that you don't do until your ship's in orbit and rotating around the earth effortlessly, and that is to go travel.
And here's the jackass kind of travel. This is why our workshops are the reverse of most workshops. There is jackass travel. Again, this is the podcast. I'm just being brutally honest with you. There's jackass travel. This is jackass travel. When I was a DJ, I joined a group called the American Wedding Association. It sounds like a good idea, right?
Yeah, why not?
So you go there, and they've got speakers and
probably cake.
The first speaker gets up, and they said, "All right, ladies and gentlemen, up next, we're bringing up such and such. She's head of a big floral company in New Jersey, and she's here to talk to you about social justice." And I'm like, oh, awesome. So taking notes in Vegas, away from my family, because I'm on business trip.
Sure.
Oh, yeah. You're there. And she's like, well, I just want to share. It's really, for me, business isn't so much about money. It's more about helping the environment and the community. And so with every flower we sell, we give back. And it's just awesome. I just love Vegas and everybody. It's awesome. I'll see you guys at the bar. And you're going, that's good. So you write down on your note. You say,
buy flowers from her.
And then your second speaker comes up. Ladies and gentlemen, our next speaker, this person is on the future. They're on the cutting edge of the DJ industry. They're a dancer from the Bronx, and they'll be teaching you a new dance move that will be catching on huge in the third quarter of next year. It's called the Cupid Shuffle. And you're like, oh, this is good. I should be. No one freaking cares about that stuff. You got to sell something. You go to college. They don't ever say, and now, students, our next class will be about selling something. You never go to the chamber and they say, our next speaker will talk about selling, because if you don't sell, you'll go to hell. No one ever does that. They have these stupid, esoteric, mind-wasting, time-sucking, soul-sucking, futile, networking, gossiping, getting together, kumbaya events. They're stupid.
How do you really feel about that, though?
No, but this is the thing. And you feel like you're doing something.
It is that you feel like you're doing something, but you're spinning your wheels and you're wasting your time, your money.
It's a learn and burn summer retreat.
It's a learn and burn summer retreat.
I hear that crap all the time.
I learned at my conference that my logo sucks.
Oh my gosh! Or you'll hear someone go. I mean, I've been to all these things, and all of them they have these really like. You have a guy get up there and speak, and he's like,
This guy is actually the marketing director for such and such, and he wants to talk to you about the importance of setting a standard for your employees.
and you're not selling anything. None of that matters. Let me try again. Sales to your business is like oxygen to a human. It is like photosynthesis, like the sun's rays, water to a plant. It's like blood to the human body. See, without sales, you're going to die. It's like replacing oxygen and water and food. You're going, well, I don't have time to focus on oxygen, water, and food, so I'm going to focus on
My logo.
and you're going to die.
And a new pair of shoes I need to buy.
You're going to die.
That's the deal. And so many people out there, there's different types of businesses, but they all require sales. We got that down. Okay, everybody gets that. Now, some businesses are you're required to have. You're trying to get the people to come into you. Okay,
To you.
Some of it is you have to do a cold call out to them.
I don't want to cheapen my brand by calling people or seeming desperate.
What if they
so
don't
I'm
want
just
it?
gonna.
What if they don't want
I'm gonna
it?
die a quiet, somber, desperate death where no one will know that I'm going bankrupt.
I'll just stand here
I'll
and
just let it
know
happen
that they can read my
silently.
mind. And you may be saying to yourself, I get it. I got to make sales. I've got to do that. But how do I get the people in? What are the moves to get them to walk in my door and say, I want to buy your stuff?
And that's what we teach in our workshops.
That's
and
what
our
I'm getting at. Yeah,
podcasts.
exactly. And if you don't know what you don't know, being a business coach, they may be sitting there waiting. I'm ready to answer the phone. I'm ready to sell something.
I've been
I'm
waiting.
Ready, I'm ready to greet someone when they come in my front door, but no one's coming in.
So what you do is you go to thrivetimeshow.com. You download the Start Here book for free. We lay out the moves. You
Lay 'em
download
out.
the Boom book. They're there. But I want to give a capstone thought to Ryan. Ryan, you're not a business coach. You're the owner of Tip Top Canine,
Right.
a very successful business. By the way, if you're listening and you want to buy a proven business model, you can buy a Tip Top Canine. That's just a little secret. But what advice would you give to somebody out there who's listening who refuses to make some sales, to prioritize sales? What would
Well,
you
if
say?
you want to eat Cheerios and ramen, that's cool. You can work on the logo. But I would say get out there and whatever you're doing, freaking sell it.
Freaking sell them. Put
Like,
that on
you-
a shirt.
You gotta
Whatever
make
you're
some sales.
doing, freaking sell it.
But also, whenever you get sales and then your guys are motivated to get out there, speaking about the culture stuff earlier, like the more we sold and the more we started implementing merit-based pay, the more our culture came way up. We didn't have to
Weird.
put culture on the wall. This is our culture.
Oh my gosh, the more
Yeah.
they started holding their team accountable and
Oh,
focusing
yeah.
on sales, the more the culture improved. So now, without any further ado, we always want to end this show in a metaphysical way, in a physical way, in a literal way with a boom. So Z, are you ready?
Absolutely.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.